Warren Buffett wanted his fortune to benefit society, but in philanthropy, as in business, he wants value for his dollar.
He thought that he wouldn't be very good at micromanaging the giving away of the money.
Well, I've got some people where I'm saying you can give it away better than I can, so I'm turning it over to you, and you do a better job of giving it away that way. There we go.
Bill Gates is a determined philanthropist.
It's almost scary. You know, if I make a mistake with my own money, it just doesn't feel the same as to make a mistake with Warren's money.
They are more likely probably to do more things to change the world, to cure diseases, to help people get an education than the federal government of the United States.
In philanthropy, you're really tackling the problems that have defied intellect, important problems that people of intellect, people with money have tackled and thought about in the past and have had a tough time coming up with solutions.
Most people would insist on having their own name on the money.
He wasn't looking to memorialize himself. He was looking to do good with his dough.
It's a very selfless act because he's thinking about, he's not thinking about whose name is going to be on the dollars. He's thinking about what the dollars are going to do.
Warren Buffett is a tycoon, but a modest one. He enjoys his money, but what he likes much more than having money is the fun of making it. More and more and more of it. Warren Buffett, who had enough spare change to give away $37 billion to charity, has remained the American everyman. He shuns ostentation.
Doesn't have yachts or fancy cars or a lot of the things that people tend to enjoy getting when they have a lot of money.
He dresses badly.
He once said that he got his clothes made by a tailor free if he didn't tell anybody who made them.
Look, Buffett spends a minuscule fraction of what he could on himself. And he said, I have everything I want that money can buy, but I always did.
What can money buy? If I had 5 cars, would I have a better time than having 1 car? I mean, I just have more possessions to keep track of, so it doesn't appeal to me.
Warren Buffett seems like a character ready to step into It's a Wonderful Life. Although Buffett hobnobs with politicians, captains of industry, and other influential people, he is an aw-shucks Midwesterner who remains himself, even when appearing in the soap opera All My Children.
Mr. Buffett, I presume. May I call you Warren? I mean, you and me alone together, oh, Warren. Warren, you are my destiny.
But Warren Buffett is not your average American. If his appearance is as unremarkable as Clark Kent's, he has superpowers too, though his are all about making money.
He has tremendous analytical powers. He thinks of things that other people don't think of. When we were little, our dad said, Warren's like someone that can see in the dark. I always remember that.
Warren Buffett, the middle child and only son of Howard and Leela Buffett, was born on August 30th, 1930, in Omaha, Nebraska, in the early days of the Great Depression.
There are bread lines, soup lines, all of that. His father's a stockbroker. He loses his job when Buffett's a small kid.
Howard Buffett sold securities on his own, but it meant lean times for the family. Still, when many Americans were eating in soup kitchens, Warren's mother skipped meals herself and managed to put dinner on the table for Warren and his sisters Doris and Roberta. Buffett already knew what it was like to be poor when, as a 6-year-old, he took his first step toward getting rich.
He pays a quarter to buy a 6-pack of Coke from his grandfather's grocery store, and he sells them for 5 cents each. That's a 20% return, and that's really what he's done all his life.
I think Warren inherited some of his ability, certainly with numbers, from my mother, because she was really good at that. She could add numbers faster than an adding machine.
And from his father, he learned something equally important.
You do not have to cheat or anything to make money.
I think his influence on all of us was a strong sense of truthfulness, honesty, and setting standards for yourself. Warren really adored my father.
Howard Buffett introduced his son to investing at an early age. Warren was only 11 when he and his sister Doris bought stock in the energy company City Service.
Early on, I sensed that he knew what he was doing. We got 3 shares for $100. Of course, the stock went down.
It went way down. Of course, he was in a panic. Then it came back. He sold for a little profit.
But soon it went up to 200.
He obviously learned it not to sell too soon or something like that. I mean, he has always been, the habit's been to hold on to everything ever since then.
Warren liked baseball, and he still does. He had many friends and behaved like other boys, with one exception.
He was kind of a regular kid, except that he did these sort of beginning business things that probably some other kids weren't doing.
He would go to gas stations and collect bottle caps.
And then he'd bring them home and spread out newspapers and sort them out. And essentially, he was doing what we would call now marketing reports. He was figuring out what was selling.
December 7th, 1941.
In 1941, when the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor sent America to war,
a date which will live.
Warren's Republican father was the only person in Omaha willing to run against the party of the popular wartime president. To everybody's surprise, he won. Soon the family was living in Washington, D.C., and 14-year-old Warren was back in business, this time delivering newspapers for the Washington Post.
My mother, she got up at 4 in the morning and would make him breakfast, and she really helped him. She wanted him to succeed, and winning and succeeding was very important to her.
He distributed close to 500 papers each morning at the Westchester Apartments, and the job made him $175 every month, equal to many a full-time wage. He spent some of his money on Nebraska farmland and collected rent on it from a farmer.
He always had businesses going, and by that time he was looking at stocks as well.
Pinball machines became another money-making venture. With a mechanically minded school pal, he bought used pinball machines and installed them in barbershops.
He was 16 or something like that, and he said to me, he said, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30.
It was a tall order that young Buffett set for himself, but he loved making money, and he was determined, come hell or high water, to become a very rich man.